this is the big bulk of the money that was spent on the project. So the rack was only like, $160. Server is, $900 to $1,100. So, we're not into it a whole heck of a lot. $1,200 right there. Let's just say a round figure, but I spent $4,300. So where did all that money go? Well, it went into the infrastructure of the project. So you pretty much see everything minus the server rack in this shot. Now a lot of it's hidden up. I'm hoping you can see it all here. I mean, I bought 2,000 feet of outdoor Cat 5e cable because it is it's a 1 gigabit network throughput throughout the whole thing. There's nothing in this equipment anywhere here that's going to choke it, minus the Wi-Fi signal's not going to give you 1 gigabit Wi-Fi. Man, it's not going to do that. That technology doesn't exist without spending a lot of money, and being that I have a large footprint of Wi-Fi I need to cover, roughly, 7,000 square feet, well, more than that, really. Yeah, you're talking more like 8,000 square feet of square indoor footage of Wi-Fi coverage, and if I decide to do some outdoor Wi-Fi, coverage, I'm going to have to end up spending, about $90 a pop more for these Wi-Fi hotspots and where I'm going to want them to get more coverage. In fact, that 2,000 feet of cable here is, is not entirely conservative. We're probably going to be hitting at least that 2,000 foot mark. But I'm willing to bet I'm going to have to buy a third box. I just know it. 1 second. Sorry, making sure the camera didn't just tick off again. But no, 2,000 feet is a starting point. I'm willing to bet we might need 3,000 feet, and I'll have plenty of leftover. I'll probably have 500-600 feet of leftover. 1,000 RJ45 heads to crimp up all this cable with. It's another purchase. Now, don't be wrong, that's probably not enough, but I have about 50 heads already just sitting around. UPSs down here. These are not too cheap either. These go like $115 a pop. And I needed at least 2 pretty heavy duty ones. If you look at the rear here, I mean, half that's surge and power. And then there's just these right here that are just surge protection. The rest of this is surge and power. These are rated to handle between 2 of them, because one of them I still got in the box and the other one's right here. Between the 2 of them, they'll be able to keep the whole rack powered for, probably 10 minutes. On top of that, we got some power flicker in here. We do have a tornado and thunder and lightning storms in the area, but they're so far out. Hoping I don't have to evacuate. No, where was I? So, no, we also have a generator on site. We got a 22 kilowatt propane Generac generator. So all this needs to do is hold out long enough for the generator to kick on. Then, of course, if there's a problem with that, for whatever reason, these units will tell the server to gracefully shut everything down. But this is so that there's no hiccup in any of the feed, any of the security equipment. Power goes out, technically speaking, you could say, they think the power goes out. All my security system is still 100% up and running. In fact, I'm not even displaying another portion of my security system with this, because it hasn't arrived yet. It should be shipping soon, but it's just another layer of security that I'm not displaying for my own security. But that kind of does the backbone. I guess we can start with the network equipment around the horn here. So up front here, let's start with this guy actually before we move into the switches. So this right here is a UniFi security gateway. It's a small little device. Something that you must understand, that this whole network is like a non-distributed network. In a traditional old school network, you would have like a brains of the network, like a router that controls it all. And in this, it's a non-distributed network, and I could be butchering the terminology and using the wrong verbiage on that. I might have to look that up again. But there's not like a particular one of these devices that I'm the controller of this whole network and everybody listens to me. They each do a different purpose and they may look to each other for information, but they're all non-distributed. In fact, this server is really kind of the controller of the whole network. And I apologize, one moment. A large and extremely dangerous tornado is located in Eldon. Man, that's still a ways off. Not worried yet. Sorry about that. But non-distributed network, they can look to each other. This is really technically the controller, but even if you took this server out of the equation and knocked it offline, for whatever reason, they still kind of have their marching orders. They're all still going to do what they've already been told to do. And you can't really interject new code in that without getting approval from the controller. So it's just like a non-distributed network. And you would, have to say on a normal traditional network, oh, well, you want your internet cable to go to this device first, and then this device next, and this device, and you still want to do that, but you could technically wire it up crazy, and it would still function and work quite well. So, what does this device do? This is a security gateway, and it can do stateful packet inspection, or it can do all packet inspection. So it's like a stateful firewall or all packet inspection. Now, as long as I leave this as a stateful firewall, which just basically means I put certain rules on it, and it governs everything by those rules, that this will stay at a 1 gigabit connection, throughput, no problem. Now, if I feel that I need to add more security layers on it, I can have it where it's going to be doing sniffing on both sides. And there's another term for it. I apologize, it's getting late and my brain is shutting down. But there's a way that it's actively looking at the whole traffic on the network, but then it's going to limit that bandwidth. Instead of it being a 1 gigabit pipe through, it's going to be like 600 megabit pipe. And so you're going to limit your bandwidth. Now, don't be wrong, if you bought this in like a higher firewall capability level, it can handle higher traffic. I pretty much intend to use it as a stateful firewall. But if things aren't working properly, then I might throttle it down and move to a different type of system. And I think if I'm going to explain this in a way that doesn't confuse anybody, then the next thing to go to, well, they're all four really the same thing. These four devices you see here are really no different from each other. They're all switches. Some of them have fiber capabilities, some of them don't, and some of them have power over Ethernet. Power over Ethernet allows me to plug an Ethernet cable, one of these RJ45 Ethernet cables. This is also why I bought outdoor cabling, because I may have outdoor cameras, outdoor Wi-Fi spots. I may have to tunnel underground to go to my workshop, whatever. So I can put power over the switch to a device that's outdoors without having to run a power cord to it or something like this, and have a camera anywhere I want. Say like for security cameras. I can put them around my house. I could drop them outside the faucet of the roof line outside and just plug them in upside down like this, and a little network cable is all it plugs into. It powers it and does all of that. And I could also take it even further, bury it outside, 100, 200 feet away from the house, put it on a tree looking back at the house, looking away from the house, looking on the road, wherever I feel like I need to put cameras. So all of these are pretty much the same. They all cost different based on what features you're going to get with them. But all of this is enterprise equipment. You're not going to beat the price in enterprise equipment. If I wanted to get something like this in a Cisco device, this was the most expensive piece of equipment I bought here. It's $900 basically. I think I got it for actually like $840. But usually it's like $900. Something like this in a Cisco lineup is probably going to cost you close to $3,000. For just one device, what it's capable of doing and all of that. So this device right here is a big bad boy. I'll start with it. Has fiber, has 48 ports, has PoE, and that's what makes it more expensive, is it's got the full load up, and that's pretty much this guy right here. 4 ports of fiber, 48 ports of Ethernet, and has a 500 watt power supply baked into it to feed to the PoE. So it can do an awful lot, and you'll see it in the rack when I unbox all of that. So that's 48 ports that I have possible. Then here's another 48 port switch. The only difference between this 48 port and that 48 port is the fact that this guy is not PoE. You can see it's a lot smaller box, doesn't have a power supply baked in, but it's just 48 ports of normal RJ45 and 4 SFPs or fiber ports. And that's going to allow me to connect with these GBICs, or I call them GBICs, but they're SFPs. Shortwave fiber something, single fiber modules. There's a whole bunch of different terms for them, but In fact, it probably says so right on what it is. SFP. Dang it. I get so many acronyms in my job that I relearn them over a different word. So either way, but these guys allow me to connect a fiber backbone between all the fiber devices that I can. So that way I'll have the fastest internet or landline connections possible. So that's what those do. Then the next up is just an 8-port switch with PoE, power over Ethernet, 150 watts, and 2 fiber ports. This switch will be at the gate, it won't be in the rack. So these two are getting rack mounted, and then a fiber port from one of the two, I'll figure that out here in a bit, is going to run 600 yards to my gate. Now I still have to provide power to this, so I'm going to be running 600 yards of Romex from my workshop to the gate, and mounting this in a gate box with other equipment that we're going to be doing with a Mighty Mule, etc., and cameras, etc. But I'll be running fiber out there because you can't go more than 300 feet with typical Ethernet cable. But I can go easily miles with fiber, run fiber, plug it in here, that will connect it all the way back to my network. And then with the security, I can lock it all down where if anybody tries to crack open the box plug-in, it'll all be shut down. They're going to not get anywhere with it. But from here, I can plug something like this camera in PoE, and then boom, I got cameras at my gate. So that's that guy. Then there's the workshop switch, which is a PoE 60 watt 8-port Ethernet only, no fiber here. Because it's just to the workshop. Workshop's right there next to the house. I can run a network cable up to it, jack into one of the ports, and I have 7 other ports still to share to my workshop at 1 gigabit connection to it. So, I can hook up a whole bunch of cameras, do this kind of filming that I'm doing here, have cameras above, and maybe get better filming and around, and do other projects like this. I have a lot of projects that I'm hopefully going to be achieving. Not only that, hook a computer and a flat panel up in there, pull up a YouTube video on how to do something, like tear apart a tractor if need be, or fix or repair anything. Now, I got quite a few of these. I think I got 5 of them here. These are $80 a pop. These are the G3 Flex cameras. I'm going to check the camera real quick. Speaking of, we are still recording. Yay! These are G3 Flex cameras. These are the cheapest, most up-to-date cameras that Unify offers. They do 1080p. They have a lot of flexibility in what you can do, frames per second, and the data rate that it's going to be sending to your server that you've got to record. And they have a microphone built in, so I can hear somebody on the other end. Now, talking back to them, there is not, of course, any speaker that I can talk back, but I can at least hear and potentially call somebody or something, interact with them if need be. You could buy an NVR system for about 120, I think it was more like 180 to 250, 300, depending on the size hard drives you wanted in it. But it's just a standalone NVR unit. The camera cut out again while I was talking about the wireless access points. However, the coverage they're going to get, the distance they're going to get, and the coverage map you're going to get is great. And out where I'm going to be at, I'm not going to have any interference. However, I still have got a lot of, well, that's not true. Anywhere you go, there'll be interference. But my interference will be minimal compared to anywhere in the world. I mean, microwaves cause interference, wireless cell phones cause interference, all sorts of stuff still causes interference. My interference will be as minimal as possible. So, I mean, we did a heat map on my blueprints. We decided how many we need, where we need them for the bare minimum. We've got 5 to start with. If I feel I need more, again, these are like 80 plus bucks a pop with a PoE injector that comes with it. You hook them up, boom, you're good to go. The security that you can put on these through the VLAN, you can disable. I mean, the security is ridiculous. This is enterprise grade equipment. So that is why I got it. I can lock it down. I can manage it. It's probably going to be a pain in my butt to get it all set up and working as I want it to be, and then test and confirm and validate that it is working as I want it to be. But then once I get it all set up, I get it all backed up, I get it imaged, and going, it's going to be, a joy. So when anybody shows up and they're like, oh, hey, you got internet? I'll be like, yeah, sure. hit it, and then they're gonna, type in a password or whatnot, and they'll get guest internet access. They won't be touching any of this. They'll just be on their own little VLAN by themselves, but they'll have great internet. It's like awesome. You maybe type in a different password, and maybe you'll be on the backbone. That's simple. I think that covers everything you need to know here, and I'm a tired puppy. So the next step is to start putting it all together. But I won't be doing that till the morning, and I need to look at the layout a little bit to figure out how I'm going to do it. I might have to run to Lowe's to buy some boards or some mount brackets or something to make it all fit. So I hope you enjoy the video so far, and I'll record me putting the final touches on it. Well, folks, day 2. I'm pretty excited because this should be the final day of putting it all together. I didn't get much sleep last night. Little thunder, lightning, tornado warning, tornado alerts, all that jazz. And then I got up pretty early to get moving on stuff. So I had to go to Lowe's, then Home Depot, because Lowe's saw was broke. So I could go off on a little rant about Lowe's versus Home Depot, but I won't. But I needed a couple boards to put in the rack to support some stuff. Because again, it's about doing it as cheap as possible and just making it functional. And of course, along the way, I had to stop at Einstein and get a jalapeno bagel, jalapeno cream cheese, and a cup of coffee, which is kicking in, which is excellent. And I thought I'd have to throw some bones towards my buddy, Chris Kogan, right here, aka Firecrow, wearing his shirt. Give him a few props because he won a race or two, I guess. And the rag is the shirt is a great rag. So I was gonna say, clean up. When you're done, you're hot, you're sweaty, just use it to clean anything up that you want. It's a great shirt for that. No, but to recap where we were, the server's built in post. And it's ready to go in the rack. Everything is built. I'm not going to be wiring it all up, but I am going to be getting it all rack mounted now. And that'll pretty much end the series until it's all configured. And I ain't going to be doing a configuration series on it. So I'm going to get started. Let's get this going here. Starting to get a lot heavier too, that's for sure. Lifting this thing is going to be a pain. Boom! She's done. I'm happy she's done. Now I got a lot of wiring, a ton of configuration to do, but she's kind of put together the way I expected, the way I planned her. Everything went as planned. A lot of homework went into it. In fact, I need to also throw a shout out, some bones, whatever you want to do, for a helping hand from a friend of mine named Blue Noise, aka Waffles, which we prefer to call him because it's a lot more fun of a name, Waffles, or aka Ben. But as you see, UPSs are down below. They'll power the entire rack. Server, external storage for backups, the Tableau, the 48-port switch, non-PoE with fiber, then the 48-port PoE switch with fiber. Then we're going to have the USG firewall here, and of course there's some fiber SFPs, and then there'll be the internet ISP equipment that sits up here as well, and then I'll probably do another board with a keyboard, mouse, or something so I can access the server directly inside the same clean room as needed. And then there's a ton of equipment, again, that's in the background that'll be external to this server rack and clean room. You know, like the cameras, the wireless access points, the workshop switch, the gate switch. You know, all of this is equipment that, you know, is not going to be on the rack, but it's going to communicate to the rack. So, build for it is done. Trying to think if there's anything relevant else. Oh, again, I'll put all the build, everything I purchased in the comments down below. If any of the items have $0 next to it, it's because I already had it, but I still put it in the build comments. If you have any questions about who, what, when, how, where, or why I did something, go ahead and ask in the comments. I'll try and provide an answer if it is relevant to the security of how I'm setting all this up. So I hopefully don't get hacked or anything in the future. Then I'll probably refer you to a link where you can read up on, you know, it and figure out your own answer. Google is your best friend. But if it's not, then I'll probably provide an answer. I might even provide an update video or wait to publish this video till I install it in the clean room. You can say, maybe just, you know, show a picture of it in action. But I mean, it's not too massive or impressive, but it's nice. I like it. I'm satisfied with it. It's kind of what I planned on. So thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Have a good day.